tropical paradise on a budget. Get ready. I'm spilling all my Zanzibar secrets. Flights, food, the best activities, and how much I actually spent.
Okay, today's another Zanzibar video, and this is gonna be like travel guide if you want to travel to Zanzibar, from how to book the hotel, flight, to everything in between. I mean, it's my version. Everything that I went through, I'm giving it to you. Disclaimer, I don't know everything. By the way, it was my first trip, remember. This is not me coming to sit here as a pro to give you all the travel guide you need. I'm still learning, but I will share with you what I know. I just want to say this to get it off the way because I have a friend who's fallen into this trap. If you have plans to go on vacation, just check your passport if it's still valid or it's not close to its expiry, because you cannot travel out of your current country if your passport is not up to 6 months and above. I have a friend who had already booked a trip to Zanzibar just to discover that his passport is below 6 months. Always, before your vacation, while you plan your vacation, check on your passports. So one thing to look out for is eligibility. I remember one time my husband was traveling to Zimbabwe, had to travel to Zimbabwe. I think I mentioned it in the other video. And he got to the airport and could not travel because they said he couldn't get the visa on arrival for Cameroonians, though other African countries had the options for visa on arrival. So I still had to check. I checked online and I was told that, yeah, I'm eligible. But besides that, when I was paying my flight, I used Fly Dubai. Fly Dubai has this eligibility something where you put your passport, your country of origin, and the country you're going to, and they'll check if you are eligible to go to that country for visa on arrival or you need a visa from where you're traveling from. So now I'm a Cameroonian. Zanzibar is visa on arrival for every Cameroonian. I don't know about any other country, but if you have plans to go to Zanzibar, you must not get the visa before you travel. You can just book your flight, get to Zanzibar, and then you pay the $50 on arrival at the immigration. So that's one thing. So traveling from Dubai, because I traveled from Dubai, first things first, check on flights. And before I talk about flights and pricing, the season is different. I traveled in February, which is like the peak period. From November to about March, as I heard, it's like where a lot of tourists are traveling to Zanzibar. So the prices will be a little bit higher, because even when I was paying flight, the price that my friend who had traveled to Zanzibar and me traveling when I traveled was way different for everyone. If you are traveling maybe April to June, July, I heard it's cheaper. You can pay up to even 850 dirhams. But we paid, I think, 3,300 to about 3,500. Now, why do I say 3,300 to 3,500? There are options. And I'll talk about it because it's very important. And these are things that some people take for granted, which is very important. When we were booking the flights, we had the options of paying insurance and luggage and also food. So you can choose to not eat in the plane. It's just a little amount, about 50 to 100 dirhams. If you are not carrying a lot of luggages, you can also choose that option. I think you have just about 7 kg. That's just your hand luggage, and that's it. You just carry your hand luggage and get into the plane. But if you want to add, I'm sure it's about 150 dirhams, you get 40 kgs. I just went for that option, though I wasn't carrying a lot, which I ended up carrying a lot. I just went for the option because you never know. You can get, maybe traveling, you don't think you need that much kg, but when you get to Zanzibar, you see a lot of beautiful things that you want to buy, African stuff, spices, and now you'll be thinking like, what was 100 dirhams that I would have just added to get 40 kgs. Another thing is insurance. So when you are not paying insurance, you cannot cancel your flight. So if anything paraza happens, that money is gone, of which you just need to add about 100 to I think 150. Guys, please, I'm not very certain about these numbers, but that's what I'm just giving you, like approximately the amount. That way you can cancel the flight, reschedule. And these are also some of the things that people just look at it like, no, I'm sure I'm traveling on this day, I don't need to cancel my flight. But you never know what might come up. Yeah, so I paid all of that, and that's why the amount went up to 3,300 to 3,500 for both of us. Another thing is hotel. I got a question, should I pay hotel before my flight? If you are sure about your date, trust me, hotel is not the problem. There are a lot of hotels, bungalows, people even have private apartments that are given out in Zanzibar, so you will not lack a place to stay. It will now depend on you, the kind of place you want. If you want luxury, if you want the hotel with the bougie infinity pool, if you want something which is beachside, that now will depend. Because one thing, I wanted beachfront hotel, but I also wanted a pool. So most of the hotels that I got that had both were a little bit on the pricey end. I had to separate my stay. One that was a little pricey, I took a couple of days to get that feeling. So I had beachfront and pool, and then I moved to another hotel that had just beachfront. And shockingly, when I got to Zanzibar, they were like neighbors. So I stayed for 6 nights, one hotel 3 days and the other one 3 days. Thinking about it now, it's even funny because the one I paid more did not have a pool, but it was really closer to the sea. And yeah, it's different because it was like hotel where you have your room, bathroom, just one room, bathroom, a dresser. I paid $480 for 3 nights. And then the other one I paid $320. I'm not sure, it's not up to 400. That one is a bungalow. And now I even feel like I would have taken more days in that one because they are literal neighbors. The sea is there. Everything that I got from the previous hotel, I had almost the same thing in this other one, and I paid $280 to $300. And that one is a bungalow. The room is huge, one master's bed and a smaller bed, extra big bathroom. And yeah, but that one is like, if you are in Cameroon, you know how they call cities. So it's like a big city. Both hotels, similar everything. It's just that one is more, a little bit bougie because you have your room and everything, but the other one is more of like city, which is very nice. You have your privacy, you have all of this space. I love space, so I was like leaning towards the one with space. When I got there, I was like, I love this one more because I have much more space. But then the other one, the view was more beautiful. Both of them, like seriously, at the end of the day, Zanzibar is just beautiful. So everything that comes with it is beautiful. You have your room, you have this, they call it patio or whatever, we will call it balcony. So a little balcony with seats, a little fridge, no TV. Thinking about it now, because in Cameroon all hotels have TV, but none, I didn't see any TV in any of the hotels. Maybe because it was not that expensive. So yeah, no TV, none of them had TV. And one thing that is very important in Zanzibar is your hotel should have mosquito nets. Because yeah, it's Africa and there's there are mosquitoes. Both had mosquito nets. Yeah, which the weather was not so bad, so we never got to feel like it was hot or anything, and they had AC, so yes. Okay, so for all 6 days, we spent $780. That's including breakfast. And trust me, you can go higher or lower because that's what I wanted. That was my preference, and I went for that. I scoured through booking.com and I picked the hotel that I felt like it was affordable for me and had the things that I wanted. If you don't need all of these things, you go for something cheaper. If you want more, you go for something higher. And maybe I did not have time to go bargain, check other options, but I think there are options that are cheaper or higher. And again, I was around where the tourists, like the heart of where tourists live in Zanzibar. If you want to go further from the beach, like very little things will reduce you cost. There are hotels where it's maybe 3 minutes from the beach and the price is like very different. So that was for me. Let's talk about food. Remember, breakfast is already included and now you're left with just lunch and supper. You don't even have to worry so much because some of the activities will take you half of your day and they have snacks included or lunch included. For example, when we went snorkeling, they give fruits, snacks, drinks. You remember even when we talked about the boat cruise, it also had like some sort of refreshment in it. So you don't have to think like I will spend a lot on food, except you're a foodie. And even at that, eating out of restaurants is way cheaper. But if you want to eat in those places like restaurants, you just save the highest that I spent in a bougie setup was about $90. If you go to like bougie, you can spend $100 and you have like 3-course meal. I had a booking to go to the Rock restaurant, which is like the famous Rock restaurant in Zanzibar, which I ended up not going. But I checked on their menu and 100 will give you good food. So feeding is not expensive at all. Eating out, you will spend less than $10 and you have good meal. But again, I still go back to say disclaimer, it depends on where you are eating. If you are eating in local restaurants, it will be cheaper, and if you are eating in the bougie, it will be a little more expensive. And by the way, you can also carry snacks. So if you're traveling, you have your snacks. I took my mambo, I had my coconut sweet, I had small things in my bag, so I didn't have to be eating everywhere. So that saved costs for me, and I was way more immersed in the activities than thinking of food. But still, if you want to get a full experience where you eat every meal, you won't break a bank for it. You don't need to spend a lot. Just save like every day $10, $15, $20, $50 a day for food. It will be more than enough for you. We go now to activities. Okay, the first day we did a sunset cruise, and it cost us $15 each. Like I said, it includes the ride, the boat, the snacks, and everything. We went to the zoo. That cost us $10, where we went and saw crocodile, monkey, bush baby, giant turtle. It cost us $10 each. The experience was like Nakupenda Island and Stone Town for $120. Let me talk about that. Why did we pay $120? I would say it is expensive because we wanted a private experience. If you are leaving your hotel, take your transportation to these places, it will cost you way less. We paid that amount because we had a private ride, 2 tour guides, and lunch included. So they picked us up from Nungwi, where we were, which is about an hour drive, took us to Stone Town. They were the one that paid for the boat that took us from Stone Town to Nakupenda. Got to Nakupenda, did whatever we're doing, took the pictures, whatever, drove back, and then another guy that took us into Stone Town. We went into the market, went to fish market, vegetable market, like took us and gave us detailed history about Stone Town, which is another video I'm gonna do, like a detailed visit to Stone Town. That and then driving us back to our hotel. That cost us that amount, and that's only because we wanted all of that. And in our car there was no other person, it was just us. We had refreshment and everything included in that amount. But if you are in a group, it will be less expensive, or you just go around, pay your transportation to Stone Town and then get into a boat with all other people, it will cost you way less. And then another thing, if you don't want lunch included in the Nakupenda Island, because I think I will do another video on Nakupenda Island because the experience is different and it has a lot of details in it. You get there, it's a disappearing island. Let me just talk about it. You have Sunbank. It's like a big place where there is sand, a small piece of land. At some point, the water disappears when there are low tides, and then it's just left sand or that land. People come there, put tents, barbecue. Like, it's just a fun place. You go there and you feel like that's how it is. And then after some hours, the tides are high, the water starts coming, and then it becomes like just water. So it disappears. At that time, there are a lot of activities. People selling food, clothes, souvenirs, all of these things are happening there. And if you don't want lunch, because if you are going with like the ride we went to, lunch was included. They had people preparing meals for you, snacks and all of those. If we didn't want it, it will reduce our cost. But we wanted it so it made the amount to $140. Another thing that we also spent money on in Zanzibar, which I would say when I get to the whole sum, is we spent a lot on photography and videography. That's our choice. I wanted to capture every moment the most beautiful way possible. So we spent a little more on drones, photographer. We had private photographers in some places that we visited, which is something that if you don't want, you can take your selfies. You might beg someone to take pictures for you. Maybe you don't need pro pictures. You don't need that. You don't need to spend that. So going to Nakupenda Island, that's from Nungwi to Stone Town to Nakupenda Island and back, it costed us $140. Another place we visited was a spice market, spice farm. So the ride to spice farm, that day the activity was Spice Farm, Prison Island, and Stone Town. You remember in my previous video, I said we visited Stone Town twice because we could not get the most out of Stone Town in one day. So that day we spent $140 again. Nungwi to Spice Farm with the guide and everything. Food, fruits, tropical, whatever. I told you how I ate so much fruit in one sitting. It had all of that there. From Spice Farm, we moved to Prison Island, and that was also not on us. It was included in the $140 to Prison Island, and then Stone Town, and back to Nungwi. $140 for all of that. I think it was fair. It was a fair deal, and then it was our private ride. We're not with any other person, so that costed us that amount. If you are traveling to Zanzibar and you want to do all of these activities, just save about $400. It will do you a lot of activities and more. And for feeding, $200 will be good enough, I think. And then another activity that we did that was so beautiful and to be one of the best activity was swimming with a dolphin and snorkeling. Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to tell you in all of these activities what you must not miss out on. Swimming with a dolphin and snorkeling is a beauty. I've never seen such beauty in my life. Like, you see the chaos happening in the world. Underneath the water is so much beauty. I don't know how God was so intentional with his creation, but you should do that. If you're going to Zanzibar, please go snorkeling, go swimming with the dolphin. It's such an amazing experience. We paid $15 for swimming with the dolphin, and snorkeling I think $10, so both is $25. Very cheap, and it's a half-day activity. So they pick you up from about 9 o'clock to about 1 o'clock. You will have the best view of the sea, from low to speedboarding to snorkeling about how many times, and also it comes with snacks. So we get to this point where they also give fruits and beverages. That should be your one activity you should not miss. Another thing is swimming with the turtle. Swimming with the turtle is a mixed experience for me because it was so nice too. The turtle started coming too much for me. I became scared, but it was a nice experience. If you want to me it's like, if you want to, fine. If you don't want to, it's okay. Another thing that I wish I had done in Zanzibar that I ended up not doing was visiting the most famous rock restaurant. My schedule was so tight, I ended up not going, even though I had booked a table there or something. So the rock restaurant, like I said, for $100 you have a nice 3-course meal. And then going there, I think one of the reasons why we didn't go there was it was so far from Nungwi. Remember I told you we're at the north of Zanzibar, so it was so far from us, and with all the other things we had to do, ended up not going. But I'll advise you to visit these places. So that is approximately how much we spend on each activity. And if I have to bring everything together, what we spent for our stay in Zanzibar, like from transportation to everything, cost us about $2,000+. Remember I said we incurred extra charges for photography because we had photographer, drone, and all of those. That's what I think took the amount that high. We had drone about 2 or 3 times. And then another activity, oh my God, how can I forget? Went jet skiing. If you've done jet ski in Dubai or you're in Dubai and you've not done it because it's expensive, please go to Zanzibar and go and do it. And if you've done it in Dubai, you appreciate the price more because it's like 3 times cheaper the price in Dubai. Jet ski is like, if you want to convert, now let me just say in dollars, it's $50 for jet ski. $50 is not up to 200 dirhams. And I know because I've done jet ski in Dubai. So there is so cheap. You can go there and do jet ski for hours. I'm not saying $50 is for hours, but it's 1 hour. So you can do 2 hours for 100. And if you bargain, like I told you, your bargaining power should be on top notch. So if you do a good bargain, you can do jet ski for 3 hours for less than $100 or $100. So jet ski is also very important. And those are some of the things that really made us incur more charges, because when we did jet ski, we had a drone. When we went to some of these places, we had drones that like really took the money that high. But overall, traveling from Dubai to Zanzibar 6 nights cost us about $2,000 plus, and it was worth it. Another thing I want to mention in this video is season. Like I said, when we got to Zanzibar, we asked about the best season to visit Zanzibar. They told us the time we visited was the best. One of the days we had rain, and that was it. It was just like for about 2 hours we had rain. In the morning, about 9 o'clock, we had rain, and that was it. The weather was beautiful, was perfect. It was hot, but I'm from Dubai, so we are in the middle of it, so it was not that hot. We were told, just like Dubai, June is the worst time. Is the worst time to visit Zanzibar because it's super hot. And then November, December also is a little tricky because there's a lot of rain. It's their rainy season. But if you are visiting between January to March, the weather is really nice. But if you can manage the heat, then what's the problem? Other than that, the other months are a little hot, and then with the rainy season, and also, yeah, the amount also vary. Like I said, if you travel during the peak period, hotel is expensive, flight is more expensive. But if you travel April or March, April, the prices start going down. The hotels will not be that expensive, and it will also depend on where you are staying. Basically, I think I've answered some of the hot questions about Zanzibar. And if there's any other thing, please ask. I mean, I'm trying to like really just give you all the details and the most important questions that you might be asking if you're planning a trip to Zanzibar. We were living in the north part of Zanzibar, which is Nungwi. Like I said, Nungwi is mostly for tourists, and prices there are a little higher. So, but to me, Nungwi has the best activities. They have the cleanest beaches. From what I heard and what I experienced, it's quite really very friendly. I heard Pemba Island is also very nice, or you can choose to stay in Stone Town. Like I said, Stone Town is so beautiful. If you want to really get to mingle with the locals, it's like you are in Zanzibar, Stone Town. But the reasons why I chose Nungwi is very personal to me. Those were my preferences, and I heard they had the best sunsets, and those are things that I really wanted to experience, and that's why I chose Nungwi. But you can choose to stay in these other places and you still get the best. I feel like wherever you are in Zanzibar, you get the best of Zanzibar. So yeah, that was it for today's video. Ask me any other question you want to ask on the comment section or on my social media, and God help me, I will give you the answers to it. And thank you so much. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please go and subscribe so that when I post a video, you'll be the first to know. Leave a comment, let me know what you want us to talk more, and see you on the next video.